What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how I got my faded old rims to look like this. In just a few easy steps and some time and patience, you can really breathe a second life into your old rims. This procedure would work on all types of different aluminum rims, but these of course are going on my 1991 Trans Am. Before anything, if your paint is in very good condition, you're going to want to get that removed. The way I did that on the other three rims, this is the fourth rim that I'm doing. The way I did that was with a Dremel tool like this and a bit like this, I simply just sanded down the outer layer. Because this is a snowflake rim, I was more concerned with just the very outside layer. What I was looking for were chips. If I had seen a chip, I would want to smooth it out, and I ended up just taking the entire coat of paint off. Now this rim, I don't know if I guess it was sitting in the sun a little bit longer. This rim, rather than having chips, the paint was just faded completely off. So rather than using the Dremel, I picked up some 800 grit, sanded it down on the outside, and now we're good to go. Now in the next step, we're going to be using a combination of 400, then we're going to move up to 800, and then finally we're going to finish with 1000. And of course we're wet sanding, so you're going to need some water. If you have some work gloves, throw them on, and have a microfiber around, or some sort of a cloth. Now you also may notice I've mounted the rim back onto my car. I have my car lifted in the rear right now. I have a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which means when I start the car, the wheel is going to turn, but it's obviously not going to go anywhere because I have it in the air. The idea is to sand the wheel as it's spinning. That's going to save you on some elbow grease. But even before we do that, we are going to sand it by hand, starting with the 400. So, here's my 400. Just sort of dip it in the water and get going. Now we're ready to start the car. I'm going to throw it in drive. This wheel starts spinning, and I'm going to continue with my 400 grit. Alright, so I did that for about 7 to 8 minutes, and I decided to turn it off because now I'm going to start focusing on the spots that they're not quite done yet. Alright, and this stage is kind of going to vary wheel to wheel. I'm pretty happy with where I got it. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me anyway. But you could spend as much time as you want, getting as detailed as you want. But for me, I'm going to move on to now the 800. And this is going to be kind of like a rinse and repeat. I'm going to do exactly what I just did with the 400. I'm going to do it with the 800 and then again with the 1000. Alright, that's it for the sanding phase. Now I'm going to pop the wheel off, we're going to take it outside, and we're going to do some buffing. For this next step, I'm going to be using Mother's Mag & Aluminum Polish. This stuff has been awesome. I never used it before, but I saw some other YouTubers using it. It came highly recommended from them, so now I'm highly recommending it to you. And no, I'm not sponsored, but I will put this in the description of the video if you want to do this yourselves. Some other stuff you'll need: a buffing drill bit and an electric drill, and then a couple of clean microfibers. So I've been doing 2 rounds of this stuff, so I'm going to wipe the first one off now. And you can already tell it's a lot shinier. Now I'm going in for round 2. And I don't know if I've caught this on video yet, but basically all I'm doing is a little dab, really, just like that. And then I'm going around a little bit and I'm reapplying as I need it. Alright, next up, we're going to mask off all the aluminum, because now we're going to paint the center of the rim. But before you do any masking, just really make sure all that buffer is out from the area that we're about to paint. Some of it's splattered on here. Okay, that's pretty good. The tape I'm using for the masking is this Scotch Blue stuff. I've used it a bunch of times. It seems to do a really good job. And you probably see it in some of my other videos. For this particular job, what I did with the other rims was I used this thinner version, but as you can see I've run out, so I'm going to be going with the thicker one. It should be fine. I think the thinner one would be a little bit easier to manage, but we'll see as I go. And before I get started, this is the stage where you guys want to really take your time. If you're doing any sort of a painting project, the masking is a huge part of it. The more meticulous you are during the masking phase, the better your paint job will be in the end. Next up, we're going to finish masking off the aluminum. I happen to have received a large shipment of assorted items recently, and a ton of packing paper came in there, so I'm going to use the packing paper to mask this off, but you could use newspaper, you could use magazines, whatever you have laying around. We just want to make sure the aluminum is protected from the paint. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm doing this on my driveway, and I don't want to get paint on it, so to protect my driveway, I'm about to slide a piece of cardboard underneath. For the primer, I'm using this Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. I've used this stuff a few times, I've been pretty happy with it. And when you're doing this, if you're doing a mesh rim like this one, I think I said snowflake earlier, but I think it's technically mesh, you just want to make sure you're getting in all the grooves. Now with this first layer, you don't have to go on too heavy. In fact, I think you should probably go on kind of light, and then we're going to do a second and maybe even a third layer. We can go on a little bit heavier then. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to do for this layer. You can see I changed angles as I was spraying. I'm going to kind of do that in the next couple of layers as well. In fact, I almost forgot a part. The next layer, we're going to flip the rim around and go from behind, because it's actually difficult to get completely within some of these inserts. So we'll do that next coming up. I'm going to give this some time to dry. Alright, so like I said, we're going to spray from the back of the rim now. This is going to capture the lower, or I should say the more inner parts of the inserts. Alright, we're right side up again. Now on the second coat, you can lay it on a little bit thicker. I know my label's coming off. We don't need it. But I'm going to focus on the direction that I'm going in to try to get an even layer all within the mesh. Alright, let's knock out this third and final coat. The primer has had plenty of time to dry, so now we're going to lay down the paint. And the paint I'm going to use is Rust-Oleum's Automotive Enamel in gloss black. Rust-Oleum also makes a specific wheel paint. They didn't have it at my local hardware store, and I honestly didn't feel like making a separate trip to a car parts store to get the wheel paint. I really don't know what the difference is, but so far I've done the other 3 rims with this paint, and I think it turned out great. And just like with the primer, same technique, light coat it first, and then we'll go on heavier with each layer after that. Here comes the second coat. Again, we're going to lay this one on a little bit heavier. And just like we did with the primer, we're going to paint from behind. Alright, the second coat is dried. Let's put on the third and final coat. We're going to let this dry, and then we're going to come back for the final step, which is applying a coat of clear. We're ready for the clear coat. Here's what I'm going to use. It's Duplicolor's Wheel Gloss Clear Coat. Alright, it's all dry. I'd say that's not bad at all. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying new rims or having this professionally done. I mean, you could just see the reflection. Alright. If you're doing this project at home, let me know how it goes. If you like this video, shoot me a like, a subscribe, and now I get to go put some brand new tires on these things and throw them back on the Firebird. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.